Houston, Texas, YMCA. This is the Race for 8 finals. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink. It's Luis Moreno and Dermot Nash coming in from Ireland. Moreno, the #1 seed, has not let down any of his fans, his friends, his family back at home watching, as he has not destroyed the field, but certainly played pretty strong handball up to this point. And then the hottest guy in handball, Dermot Nash, you knew they were on a crash course eventually, because he's the guy that's done so well. He has now made it to the finals at his second race event in season number 3. Dave, Dermot Nash, talk about that Cinderella story coming in here.
Dermot Nash announced himself, Dave, at the U.S. Open in October of 2013, race stop number 2 of this season. We didn't think much of that quarterfinal matchup between Luis Moreno and Dermot Nash. It looked like just a routine quarterfinal for Luis against an unheard of Irish player. Luis jumped out to a 13-1 lead in that first game, and that's when we really started to recognize what Dermot Nash was all about. Came all the way back to win that first game, 21-20, eventually losing the match 21-16, 11-5. That was a 2-hour and 45-minute match. And that's the only time these guys have played since then. Dermot Nash won a huge tournament in Ireland just a couple weeks ago, defeating Robbie McCarthy in the finals.
Can you hear the announcement there from Luis Cordova?
0-0.
Luis Moreno from Tucson, Arizona, and wearing the black shirt, Dermot Nash from County Clare in Ireland, wearing the gray with his name on the back.
Nash played the match of the tournament last night, Dave, against Emmett Peixoto, winning 11-9 in a tiebreaker. I mean, really, it could have gone either way. And you wonder what he has left today. He looked like he was cramping. He was completely exhausted at a couple of points in that match yesterday.
1-0. How does a player prepare after having such a grueling tournament for a big final like this? What do you do to your body? Do you have a massage? Do you drink a lot of water, pickle juice? What do you do to try to make sure that you don't have any of those ailments?
Well, I would say what you don't do is show up to the court 3 minutes before the match, and that's what Nash did. He walked in the door at 9:58 here, Dave. And I don't know if he's practicing at an alternate site. I don't think he is. So he is not warmed up for more than 5 minutes to start this match. He looks pretty good, though.
1-0.
Luis Moreno, Dave, is a guy that never seems to be tired.
And there's another point for Luis Moreno. Yesterday, you were up pretty big against Luis, I believe 17-9 going to 21, eventually losing. What was it that Luis did during that run that gave him the edge and the points?
Luis made a lot of great gets. He has amazing anticipation, and he's also got great shots with both hands. Luis's left is maybe as good as his right now. In fact, if you ask him, he'll tell you that his left is his strong hand. And look at that shot on the run, Dave. I mean, Dermot pushes Luis into the left wall with power. Luis plants on that back foot and just rips a kill 2 inches high. Dermot, Dave, fly kills a lot more than the traditional Irish style. You see guys like Robbie McCarthy and Martin Mulcairns not really taking the ball out of the air, but Dermot does look to take the ball out of the air.
Short.
There's a short ball.
Second serve. Cut out. Two serve 0.
Luis Moreno saying that the biggest tournament he ever won was at the U.S. Open a couple months ago, where he defeated Dermot Nash in the quarterfinals.
I was going down.
Went on to defeat Nati Alvarado Jr. in the final.
3 serve 0.
I want to say hello
after
to
beating
go ahead.
Alan Garner in the semifinals, which was a huge win for him, 11-10 tiebreaker.
4 serve 0.
I want to say hello to the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. They're watching on the flat screen TV right now, Dave. They said that there's about 20 to 30 locals there watching, eating breakfast, and enjoying great handball action as hometown hero, Luis Moreno, has that
Side out.
huge lead, and he gets that side out right there on that serve. It's the announcer curse into effect. But, you know, it's nice to see the communities out there watching these broadcasts and having streaming parties, they call them. There's Dermot Nash. Luis Moreno trying to get the points, but also the $5,000 in cash that come with this. It's a pretty nice win. If he were able to get it. Those back at home rooting for him.
Short.
Boy, that was a pretty good serve right there. I thought it was good.
We may not have seen a lot of Dermot Nash on the webcast, but he has a lot of big game experience and big match wins. In fact, beating Charlie Shanks.
Point.
And that's not a bad bounce.
No, only slides.
I talked to Dearman, Dave. He said, I'm aiming for that
One
glass box. I realize it's not right. It's not the right thing, but it's also not a bad bounce. And for a lefty, Dave, it's very easy to get that Z serve to hit that glass box.
Point.
And that's what Nash is able to do. He has a great soft touch. He can absorb power and feathered that ball low and into the corners. You saw him do that against Emmett Peixoto in the crucial stages of that match last night.
Point. Three serves 5. Not out.
That was a great deep 2-wall pass from Luis Moreno, and that's something that I wouldn't say he necessarily works on. It's just part of why we call him the natural. He just naturally locates that wall.
That's a nice return from Nash and forces the air. But that was an important inning for Nash. He got himself on the board and got himself into this game after trailing 5-0. Luis hit the serve into the floor.
There's a lot of people back home saying, I don't like this format. Nash had to go play a couple more extra rounds than Luis did to get to this point. But Dave, Luis is playing doubles in the pro event as well. There's a pro doubles here with really big prize money. And Luis played 2 rounds as well, and he's playing 2-on-1. Watched a little bit of his action yesterday. He takes 90% of every ball hit. So he's extended himself as well. And Nash not electing to play in the doubles.
Side out.
And there's a side out. And now you can say it's not the same, but that match he played last night was almost 2 hours long, and it was right before your match with him.
5 serves 4.
But that's what Luis does.
Dermot doesn't have a choice but to play in the qualifier. Luis does have a choice whether to play or not play in the doubles. So it's a little different in that respect.
That's true.
Side out.
And Nash holding his own here.
You can just sense a inner belief that Nash has in his own game.
Well, you labeled him the hottest handball player on the planet. And I think you're right. But he's running into the guy that actually probably is the hottest player on the planet.
We'll actually know in about 2 hours who is the hottest player on the planet. This will settle that argument.
I think it's going to be more like 45 minutes.
Okay.
5 serves 4.
Not at this rate.
Look at that beautiful shot. Back wall, flip to the front. Luis now stepping back in with a little bit of power. And Nash goes with those soft hands, unable to get that ball to roll. Now, early in this tournament, he was making those balls.
Well, that was not a good shot from Luis.
6 serves 4.
And Nash with a strange error there. He makes very few errors. You can't afford to make errors against Luis because if you let him stay in that service box, he's just going to become more comfortable. And that just skips.
Luis a little nonchalant with that left-handed shot.
I thought it skipped.
I thought it was good.
4 serves 6.
Dearman Nash, Dave, is just 23 years old, and he's the reigning men's Irish senior national champion and 23 and under world champion. He considers those his 2 best tournament wins so far.
And then he takes down Gaffney, comes in hot to this tournament, and doesn't let down. Defeats Alan Garner as well as Marco Chavez. And then Emmett Peixoto on his way to this final.
That was his second win over Emmett Peixoto in as many encounters. defeated Emmett in the quarterfinals of the USHA Four-Wall Nationals
6 serves 4.
2013.
And that was a very entertaining match last night. 6-4 here, though. Luis Moreno wearing the black from Tucson, Arizona. County Clare is the location for it. Dermot Nash, who's got a lot of countrymen back home watching this live feed that we're providing for you. And we want to say hello to them.
6 serves 4.
Oh, great shot. But Nash just has that way of keeping rallies alive, Dave. And he'll get this too.
Point.
Well, Luis actually gave Nash about 3 opportunities there to do something better than what he did, and Nash was unable to do it. You see that Luis is constantly driving you side to side, but Nash could have floated one of those balls down
7
one of those
serves
walls
4.
and got Luis out of the front, but he was unable to execute. And there's that amazing reverse hook that Luis has down the left that triple bounces the back wall. He deceives you thinking he's going to go to the right, and then he stuns you when it doesn't even bounce off the back wall.
Short.
And then he goes for a crack to the right. And when Luis is changing it up left, right, he has a lot of confidence. When he starts sticking to the same serve, that's when he's not in his groove yet. And he's back to the right again. That one was a slider. The ball barely makes a front wall. Luis slides it down, gets the point.
And that is very tiring there for Nash. And you see him call it timeout. But Luis is pushing Nash back and forth, front to back. And Nash won't last long playing rallies like that against Luis Moreno.
We have Luis Moreno on tape. We talked to him earlier about his motivation. Let us listen to see what he has to say when we put the cameras on him.
I'm really just going out there every time, and I'm not even worried about the score or anything or who I'm playing against, and I'm just kind of like working on a mold, and I still have a lot of work to do, so I'm just happy that I'm healthy and feeling really good. I just try to motivate myself really by listening to music and reading and writing, and I'm actually like more inspired, and I feel like I've learned a lot more within the last year and even like the last 6 months. So I'm just really proud of myself and happy that I'm able to do what I love, and I'm just happy to be here.
Great to hear from the world #1 Luis Moreno there.
Talking about what motivates him. And that's all true. You know, he says the same thing off camera as he does on.
We want to thank Jeff Kastner for putting these clips together, Dave. Jeff is doing some amazing work here this week, as are Linda Manning and Chris Garrad. These are 3 of the most talented people in the business, bringing this amazing high-definition broadcast to us.
Unbelievable production from the crew. Not just amazing people and you know, talented people at their craft, but just talented at everything they touch.
Yeah.
And we're very fortunate to have those guys in our back pocket, and they also
9 serves 4.
are given back because they could easily make it so difficult for us if they wanted to. They're donating a lot of their time and energy to help try to grow the sport of handball. They see the significance of what we're doing and what the sport is to people who love watching, and also those that love playing. And that passion seems to kind of, you know, carry over from what they see at these tournaments to their own lives. So they've given back because of that.
Well, I think you can't help but be inspired by being around a group of athletes like we have that sacrifice so much because they love this game and they're just so good. How could you not be inspired? But we can say the same about being around the crew, who's so good at what they do.
Yeah. They're so good that you and I decided that we were going to never make fun of the referees again on the live broadcast.
Only when we play.
Well, by we mean you.
5 serves 9.
5-9.
Turns out to have been a very good timeout for Nash, who had lost 4 consecutive points. That timeout went from 1 minute to about 1 minute and 45 seconds as Luis wiped the floor. Now Nash has come in
6 serves 9.
looking a lot fresher, and that was a beautiful cross-court pass.
Point. I saw it good.
That looks short.
Both agree.
Okay.
7 serves 9.
You know, Dave, you talk to a lot of the Irish guys, the contemporaries of
Point.
Nash, and they'll tell you that he is just so cool and so calm under pressure. He'll never be rattled.
8
He'll
serves
never
9.
lose his cool. He himself describes his game as adaptable. And you can see it, Dave. He doesn't just play one style. He can ground and pound. He can slow the game down. He makes a lot of gets. He's very fit. He makes very few errors.
9 serves 8.
Dermot credits Paul Brady, Owen Kennedy, and Tony Healy
Point.
for taking Irish handball to the
Good,
next
sir. I
level
called it good.
and inspiring
One agrees.
guys like him
One disagrees.
to come over here.
Point.
Because, Dave, there was a time before those 3 amazing Irish
10
superstars
serves
where
8.
the Irish felt like they couldn't compete against the top Americans. That's changed.
Our reporter, Nadi Alvarado, is up in the crow's nest. If you watch that play develop, looked like 2 bounces. It was called next to Luis Cordova. And Nadi Alvarado said that I'm on top watching Luis Moreno, and he is striking the ball flush on a high percentage of strikes. Giving us that
8
report
serves
from
10.
the upper balcony.
Thanks to Nadi for that. We'll be looking forward to some more insight from the top 5 pro who's appeared in 5 race finals, Dave, in the 3 race
9
seasons.
serves 10.
Very impressive accomplishment, including the
Short.
finals here last year.
Nadi Alvarado says that he will give us live reports from up top from
Second
his
serve.
perspective of what he's seen during this match, whether that's going to be on a microphone or just text messages from his location.
Point.
And you see that hits that glass box back there, Dave, where you put your
10
wallet,
serves 10.
car keys. Well, right now it's affecting Luis Moreno's.
Short.
Boy, those are sneaky.
Yeah.
Even though that's short, that's still sneaky.
Second serve.
Well, I've never seen a Z serve work against Luis, but it's working. And this is why, because Luis takes it out of the air and pushes you out of the front court. But it's working for Nash because he's able to stand on the left, Dave, and hit a sneaky natural down the right, or sneak one straight down the left, or hit the Z so Luis can't anticipate it.
Dave, on that last play, Nash decided to take that ceiling ball with his right hand, his offhand, and
10
he
serves 10.
mishit it, never made it to the front wall. Why didn't he just use his left there?
Well, I think the angle of how he could hit it with his right was going to put that ball into the back left corner. If he hits that with his left, it's going to come more towards the middle of the court
Cut out.
from where he was standing. So I think he wanted to use his right to be able to feather the ball into the left corner.
Ten serves 10.
Altogether at 10. That was a skinny.
And Dave, I think
Two-wall
we've had more balls hit that glass box than they've actually hit the back wall in
10
this
serves
match.
10.
It's very odd to see that, although, you know, we've traveled around and seen handball courts that had that all over the place, that same little area to put your car keys, but
That's a great shot there from Luis.
if
Nash frustrated with himself as he wasn't able to pop that ball up and push Luis out of the front court.
11 serves 10.
this is best 2 out of 3 to 21, tiebreaker to 11.
Nash has a sort of a Tyler Hamill personality, Dave, where he's incredibly calm, but don't let that fool you because
Over.
he is unbelievably competitive,
He stayed down.
just like Tyler.
Over. Yeah, but he stayed down. He didn't move.
Let's look at the replay here. Luis says that
I didn't
Nash
see him get up. I thought he
lifted
stayed down.
and he hit him with the ball, and because he lifted,
Did he stay down? or
it
did he
should
get
have
up?
been unavoidable. Let's
Well,
take a look.
Luis Cordova, our referee, gave Luis Moreno the shot, and then it seemed like his shot was taken away from him by Nash, maybe moving just a bit. Let's see. We'll see it right here.
11 serves 10.
Yeah, yep, he did lift enough. Actually, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough that when he lifted, Luis hit his body with his backswing, with the full swing, I should say. Yeah, that's one of those ones that you'd have to show in slow motion to prove that it is an avoidable hinder. It happened so quickly.
Nash has to be frustrated with himself there. It's very easy miss, and now Luis pumped up by that bad call, and you don't want a bad call to go against Luis Moreno when you're playing him, because he'll run 8 or 10 straight points to prove a point. And look at that serve, just amazing. Nash will need a timeout here, Dave. This is where the game can get away from you.
13 serves 10.
Amazing serves, and here's a big back wall setup.
Point.
And a smart timeout for Nash. I think 2 points too late, but certainly better now than after 4 more points if you're in the Nash camp. Dave, both these guys not only are top handball players on the planet, but they also work. Nash is an investment analyst for Towers Watson, a risk management consulting firm. I would think something similar to investment banking. Luis Moreno, an entrepreneur, has a couple of businesses in Tucson, and also is an amazing writer and photographer. I know you've seen some of his work, Dave.
Also does some oil paintings as well, and he's going to open up a web store that will simply be the items that he's interested in. He does a lot of music creation and editing, and went to school to be a graphic artist, so he's got this really artistic mind. Nadia Alvarado, our reporter up in the crow's nest, says that Nash's feet don't even look like they're touching the ground. He just glides as if he is flying out there. That's the take that Nadia has. He also mentioned that Luis Moreno is completely upset with that last call.
Both these guys, Dave, state that their goals are just to be the best that they can be. They don't set goals just to be number one or win a certain number of tournaments, just to be the best they can be. Nash overhits that ceiling shot, and Luis just completely in control here. Luis just broke off a 2-foot hop on a fly kill right at Nash's feet. And it doesn't matter if he was gliding or not there, Dave. There was nothing he could do with that.
Well, since that controversial call, Luis has scored 4 straight.
But that's been the pattern in this game. Luis building a 4 or 5 point lead, Nash coming back, not able to take the lead, but then Luis surges out to another 4 or 5 point lead.
Luis,
very difficult to continue to play from behind, as Nash has. Not a good serve. That looked like a tired shot to me from Nash. Now
be a
not
setup.
Moving his feet.
Hold it.
Wow, that was a bad shot from Moreno. He was in a perfect position to do a 2-wall pass to the left wall and decided to go right down the middle. Gets a replay. It was bad, but it wasn't
15 serves 10.
Wasn't lethal because he's still in the server's box. But Dave, Nash is still hanging out here.
Cut out.
That's a good shot from Nash. He took his time there, Dave. Luis anticipating the left corner, but Nash just hit a great shot. Gets the side out.
10 serves 15.
Nadia Alvarado says that that missed call, that missed avoidable, was a wake-up call for Luis Moreno.
But Dave, you realize that Nash is in this game, but in order to win this game, he'll have to outscore Luis Moreno now 10-5. And that's no small task to win this first game.
Short.
You're watching the WPH Race for 8, season number 3, stop number 3, Houston, Texas, YMCA. This is the men's final.
And that's the backdoor Z that Luis played very well. Hit a sharp 3-wall return.
Strange bounce up front.
Out.
Luis gets under that ball and flicks his wrist and puts a reverse on it, even though he completely armed that shot.
11. Point.
Nadi does not have a radar gun on him, Dave, but he said that
16 serves 11.
the fly pass kill that Luis Moreno hit was about 100 miles per hour.
Appeals, I call it short. One agrees, both agree. Second serve.
He also said that that last smash pass that got him back into the server's box here was on 1 foot, leaning back. And it's hard to do that with all that power, but Luis has an incredible ability about transferring his weight and knowing exactly how to put it on one leg and still hold that power. A lot of players have to have both feet down.
Flat out.
And that was not an example of what I was talking about.
Well, Luis tried to take a little bit off that and use the spin of the ball coming off the right side wall and let the ball roll through his hand. And we'll have a quick towel break here. But Dave, when that ball hits the front wall, right side wall, it checks up. You can let that ball go through your hand, out of your fingertips, and the ball will actually hit the corner.
Timeout, 2 minutes.
Stay down. We're going to have a 2-minute break here.
And we're also going to take a break. We'll be back in about 1 minute or so. Stay close for Dave Fink, Dave Vincent here. The men's finals at the Race for 8.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh,
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
oh no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
All right, time in.
Back to the action here. Game number 1, men's finals of the Race for 8 with Darman Nash. Nadia Alvarado says that hip flexor of Nash's is starting to show here during this men's finals, where Luis Moreno is leading 17-11. Nash kind of limping around the court here, but that's what happens when you play 6 or 7 matches. He got here on Tuesday of this week and then played a ton of handball before the tournament started. Went through that qualifier, had to go and defeat Marcos Chavez in a very close battle in the qualifier final. Then Alan Garner, Emmett Peixote, and now Luis Moreno. So there's a lot of handball underneath the belt of Nash.
Also, Anthony Celesto in there, Dave.
Yeah, forgot about Celesto, who picked off Sean Linning a day earlier.
17 serves 11.
Luis nearly hit the perfect reverse down the left. It just did bounce into that left wall and gave Nash a look at it. If that ball reverses another half inch, it's an ace.
Nadia Alvarado upstairs says that, wow, that's an amazing serve.
Wow.
Nadia Alvarado says that he's not, and he's talking about Nash,
17.
not flinching to the power game of Luis Moreno. He wants to know if he can hang. But Dave, you can hang with serves like that. As a lefty yourself, you get some inspiration from some of this, from Nash especially, but
Absolutely.
these young guys that have those great serves.
Yeah. The deception is
17 serves
really
12.
what's most inspiring. You really can't read Nash's serves. He can stand in the same spot and hit a 3-wall serve.
Second serve.
Straight serve down the left, or a amazing reverse or natural down the right. And it's the same motion. That's not a good serve from Luis. Great speed there. Nash left that up. He had to paddle that one a little bit harder into the right corner, more of a smack. Instead, he floated it into that right corner. You can't float a cross-court kill. as the ball hang up and Luis can track that down.
That was a huge natural hook there too from Luis. Short ball, second serve. Luis's second serve, I think, is almost as dangerous as his first.
Well, that one's
look at that.
That's the second serve ace he's had on that serve.
Well, he just hits that spot so
19
well.
serves 12.
But you think, Dave, for a right-hander serving into the right wall, the ball usually checks up, but Luis hits it with so much power that it actually catches the crack and stays down.
Yeah, he's reversing that ball, which means he's going over the top with his right hand.
But you know, most players would hit a serve front wall, right wall, and the ball checks up and hangs there on the right wall. Now, if you hit a right-hander hits the front wall, left wall, that's when you can get the ball to stay down. But Luis is able to do it on the right wall.
12.
And now, all of a sudden, Dave, it's game point, and this should be it.
Hold it.
But it's not. We're going to replay that. And then we're also going to get the towel, and you see Nash looks completely either upset or mad at
I think
something.
Nash is exhausted here.
20 serves 12.
Moreno on a there it is. He's on a 10 to 2 run that is closed out with a beautiful ace serve there on the right-hand side, and a round of applause from the crowd as Nash waves to the referee. And now we're going to take a quick 3-minute break. We'll be back in just a bit from Houston, Texas at the Family YMCA for race stop number 3. This is the men's finals. We'll be back right around the corner at racefor8.com.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on line.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo. Whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
Oh, no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, Let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Back to the action here at the Family YMCA Houston, Texas. Men's finals, game number 2 about to start after Darman Nash lost that one 12-21 against Luis Moreno. As Nadia Alvarado, our reporter upstairs, says you can't see it from where you are, but Luis Moreno is hitting balls flush in difficult spots. He also said that jumping left overhand wall scraper at 19 set up the game closer ace as Nash poises a DC-like return of serve.
We never really had the sense that Nash was really in that game. He trailed 5-0. Luis hit a serve into the ground. Nash tied the score at 5. Luis jumped back to 10-5. Nash tied the score at 10. From there, it was really all Luis Moreno, scoring 11 of the next 13 points to close out that first game. So it was really Nash just playing from behind throughout that entire first game. He did have a couple of really impressive serves, Dave, but he needs more of that because he's got to keep the pressure on Luis. If Luis doesn't feel pressured, there's really no stopping him. Nash will have to do more than just make great gets. He's going to have to start dominating rallies, making kills, and mixing in a few aces when he gets in the service box. Problem is, Dave, is when you're losing most of the rallies, you don't get to serve. And when you don't get to serve, you don't get into a great rhythm on your serve.
I want to say hello to Jimmy, Joan, and Royson Lynch from Scariff County, Clare, wishing the best of luck to Darman Nash here in the finals. Watching this live feed. 0-0, game number 2 underway now. Nash going for that bad bounce off that box over there.
And Luis played really close there to Nash, and Nash used that to his advantage. Sensed that Luis was right there on his hip and blasted a pass shot straight down the left wall.
1-0.
Not a good serve there from Nash. That's between the legs from Luis. And he hits the winner on it, David. He hit a shot like that last night that changed the momentum of the match in his semifinals. A behind the back
0 serves 1.
paddle kill off the back wall. And now Luis parlays that amazing between the legs pass shot winner for a side out and hits an ace on his very next swing.
1 serves 1.
Not a good shot there from Luis. Should take care of that. And Nash just hits a party ball there. Davey couldn't have been going for that. Methodical rally here.
I like that shot from Nash. Luis cuts it to the right corner, and then Nash goes back to the left. Luis gets it back to the front, unable to make the front wall. And now Luis is letting off some steam.
Well, that's the first
emotion.
hand air that Luis has made in this match. Just completely shanking that ball off the right side wall.
Alvarado says the heat is on a text message. I'm not sure if he's quoting a Glenn Fry song or just talking about this match.
Great shot there from Nash, but he doesn't hit it hard enough, and the ball hangs up. He had the right idea, Dave. Luis pinned behind him on the right wall to angle the ball away from him, but instead he floated it into the right corner. Also hit it about 6 inches too high. Darman Nash, Dave, with a loss here, if he does lose here, will move into 3rd place on the race for 4th place on the standings.
In the race standings or the power rankings?
The race standings.
Wow.
Serves 1.
But he's skipping New York.
Well, he needs to have a stern talking to from those back in County Clare, because Nash, if he skips New York and doesn't make the Players' Championship, he's missing out on a huge financial opportunity, and he could donate all that money to the GAA.
Or the Junior WPH.
Three serves 1.
Nadia Alvarado says that Luis Moreno's tracking the ball better than he ever has this morning, which is making Nash look slow. The reality is this tournament has made Nash look slow. He's played so many matches. Just going up against Emmett Peixote will make you feel slow the next day. And he played Alan Garner and Celesto and Marcos. And now Luis Moreno.
That out.
Boy, it's hard to do that on your 6th match of a tournament, that left corner kill.
Well, it's hard to hit a flat rollout on the 25th shot of a rally.
1 serves 4.
Wow, and he does it again. Same spot. Dave, that's one of your favorite shots. Nash doesn't hit it as hard as you do, but you have to be inspired by this young guy. I know that you really looked up to other powerful lefties like John Bike and John Kindler. And so I'm certainly, I know you have your eyes on this young kid here. And look at that slider.
Very impressive.
3 serves 4.
I like this underhand angle here. Remember, this is the one that got him some points yesterday against Emmett.
Out.
Like he got that easily.
That
Call
ball
it double
just
bounce.
Strange.
Yeah.
4 serves 3.
Luis hits the ball with so much hook that you're anticipating it coming off the back wall to your right hand, but it actually comes to your left hand because once it's hit the floor, it's moved 2 feet.
5 serves 3.
Look at those great hands from Luis.
Out.
Redirects at the last second and forces Nash to flip it. I'm just not going to talk anymore.
3 serves 5.
I know people are happy to hear that.
Hold it, hold it. No. You had 5, but it's 3-5.
Nadia Alvarado says on a text message from upstairs that last driving pass shot that Luis hit, he was wondering if it was 100 miles an hour on the radar. Said Luis looks like he's hitting the ball as hard as he possibly can be. And that really comes from strong legs.
This is Luis Moreno's 10th appearance in a race final. In his previous 9 appearances, Dave, 8-1. His only loss being to Charlie Shanks, race for a 2 season in Salt Lake City. He's the pre-scandal Tiger Woods, Dave. If he goes into the final round with the lead, it's pretty much over. Tiger at one point, 49 out of 50 with the 3rd round lead. Luis Moreno, similar percentage. If he wins this match today, he'll be 90% in finals. And Dave, what makes that so amazing is not only does it demonstrate his conditioning, but also you're playing the best player in the tournament in the finals generally.
5 serves 4.
And he's beating them 90% of the time.
And Charlie Shanks, wouldn't have mattered who he played in that tournament in Salt Lake. He was going to win it.
Well, I miss Charlie on the tour. He's such a great player. And really was Luis Moreno's foil there in the second half of the season last year. They went 2-2 against each other last year. Unfortunately for Charlie, he's been hampered with some injury problems, and we hope that he'll be back in New York.
4 serves 5.
I really like that serve. That takes away the offense from Luis. And forces huge overhits and setups like that, but Nash needs to execute. And there's a side out.
Well, I like that play there from Nash, taking a little bit off it and going into the left corner. Sometimes you're so close to the front wall, it's hard to put the ball down. you hit it. So if you hit it too hard, it comes right back to your opponent. You had the right idea there.
Hold it.
Nash had a break around Moreno there. Unable to make a clean play, and the referee saw it, called it over. Now serving at 5-4 again is Moreno.
Short.
Wow, that ball's
I'll tell you,
down
Dave,
the line.
Luis probably hit 20 serves that were on the short line last night that would have all been aces. I was lucky the referee had good eyesight, but they don't let you into Harvard without being perfect at everything.
Cut out.
Inside out, right-handed kill shot to the corner there. Nash has a very good offhand.
4 serves 5.
Still liking this underhand paddle serve to Moreno. He's been getting some overhits. That was a nice return, though.
Cut out.
Moreno just Paul Brady's that ball right down the middle.
I don't know. Maybe he Luis Moreno'd it.
5
This
serves
is
4.
Dermot Nash's first ever appearance in a race final. Obviously, Dave, you have to have your first appearance, but
Point.
Mondo Ortiz and Robbie McCarthy are the only other players in race history to have only played in one race final. Every other race finalist has been
6 serves 4.
at least 2. As we said, this is Luis Moreno's 10th race final. Sean Lenning has been in 6 finals. Nadia Alvarado in 5.
Serve.
Paul Brady in 2, winning both of them.
That was a setup, and a tired Nash misses his spot. Now Moreno looks like he's playing within a system. Serve, shoot,
7 serves 4.
get into the rally, look for an overhit, and then put it away with those beautiful fly right corner kills or pass shots.
I like that system. I'm going to write that down.
Second serve.
Who can beat that? Serve? I'm actually being serious. It's true.
Point.
Well,
That's
you're going
an
to have to watch the
amazing
video
serve.
replay, and that's a great
Okay.
ace serve right there. And now Luis is really pumped up, trying to close this one out.
8 serves 4.
I actually will be watching the video replay for evaluation purposes. A little bit difficult evaluating yourself, but there's no one else that's going to do it. Outside of some nasty text messages from fans.
Timeout. 1 minute. Score is 9 serves 4.
Well, fan stands for fanatic, and these group of handball experts out there are really fanatical about the sport of handball. So they'll give you their opinion unsolicited, and sometimes their opinion hurts, but it's true to them. So I guess we just have to take it. Nonetheless, it is what it is. We also have one, and it's not always favorable to those that are listening. Nadia Alvarado says that the right wall yields more crack than you've seen in any other tournament for Luis Moreno. He said that he's hitting every ball on that right side as a crack. He hasn't hit a lot on the left, but he's...
I actually thought, Dave, that these courts would work to Luis Moreno's disadvantage because they're panel and a little bit slower. I thought it would make his serve more playable, but that hasn't been the case. Luis's serve has been as devastating as ever.
You gotta wait.
Huge rankings shakeup, Dave, after this event, both in the power rankings and the Race for 8-3 standings.
Well, let's talk about that.
Well, the rankings are not official right now, but we will have a new number 2.
9 serves 4.
A new number 3. Probably a new everything.
Well,
after number 1.
At 9-4 here, let's not talk about number 2 yet. I want to bring that up in a second, but the number 3 player right now on the tour is Nadia Alvarado, I believe, our reporter upstairs. Where does he go after this tournament after losing so early?
Well, actually, Nadia came into this event ranked number 4. It was Charlie Shanks ranked number 3 who didn't play in this. But Nadia will lose a lot of points, Dave, because remember, he was in the finals here last year. That was 8 points. In the next event, he made the semifinals, which was Alaska. That event also drops off, so he loses 14 points. Only picked up 1 point
5
here.
serves 9.
So basically, he's losing 13 points. He came into this event with, I believe, 31 overall power ranking points. That number now goes down to 18.
Nice corner kill right there for Luis Moreno, and he gets the hand out.
So he'll fall behind now Emmett Peugeot.
So his number is what? He goes from 4 to like 5 or 6?
He will not be in the top 4.
So he's 6 or 7 then?
Somewhere in that vicinity, yes.
Okay. Is there anybody moving up into the top 4 that wasn't there previously besides the guy that's at number 2?
5.
Sean Lenning, for example, where does he go? 9 to 5 is the serve.
Sean Lenning will be likely at number 4 in the power rankings.
So he drops down. Anybody coming in? Emmett, for example.
Emmett will likely enter at number 5. Now you'll have to wait until tomorrow morning when these are posted, but likely Emmett at number 5.
Serves 5.
Charlie Shanks had such an amazing run in the second half of the Race for 8-2 season that he still maintained a top 3 ranking despite skipping the first 3 events of this season.
Second serve.
He accumulated that many points with a semifinals in Denver, a win in Salt Lake City, a second place in Seattle.
Moreno just lethargic at the end of that play, but Nash, as Nadia Alvarado says upstairs, reporting down to us via Twitter and text, says that Nash is always moving toward the right re-kill spot. And that's true. We've actually seen that, but he hasn't executed when he got there. A lot of skip ins and just overhit balls, and that's a tribute to just how tired he is. But you can see that Nash does get into the right spot. And look at that, fading left corner kill.
Shot. And that's the shot that Charlie Shanks alluded to when we discussed Dermot Nash. He said he has this unbelievable ability to hit soft, deathly touch kills that are Healy-like. Anywhere around the front court.
Side out.
There's a side out.
serves 6.
Every time Nash seems like he's going to go on this run, he's just unable to do it. Right down the middle, referee lets him play it. Smart move from the ref. Nash doesn't take advantage, though.
Well, Nash should have won this rally, and now he's in trouble here, and that's that.
Point.
Luis puts so much pressure on you if you think you want to play an upfront game with him. It's virtually impossible. Now Nash arguing that there was a lot of congestion up there, but that was really caused by himself. He had opportunities to get Luis out of the front court, unable to do it.
I could see his argument there, but he put himself in a bad spot with a terrible return of serve off a huge backwell setup.
Second serve.
Luis Dave was initially coached by John Henning in Tucson, then was fortunate to have Fred Lewis come on his team. Fred, one of the great players in the history of the game. Still consults with Luis, but Luis says,
yeah, hold it, over.
Luis says his coaches now, Dave, are Fred Lewis and his intuition.
Well, not only Fred, not to minimize what Fred and John Henning have done, but after spending time in Tucson myself, I've noticed that the locals really do take a lot of pride in feeling like they've helped groom Luis. Doug Clark and you know, maybe more of a life coach, but some of these guys said, you know, we played him when he was 14. He'd come down every day looking for games. You know, I helped him, you know, because I jumped in the court with him when I was better than him. And then it didn't take long. 2-3 months later, he's whipping up on everybody. But there's at least 20 guys that feel like they were there for him when he was not good. Jumping on the court with this young kid because he had this passion to play handball.
Luis told me at one point that he used to play for 6 hours a day by himself in the court. He and his good buddy Chris Maldonado in Tucson, Dave, told me that they used to get to the club, play for 6 or 7 hours, and go home and watch videos for another 6 or 7 hours. And that was every day. So we call him the natural, Dave, but this has not happened by accident. This is thousands of hours of preparation to become the #1 player in the world.
Point.
Luis, a little bit sloppy in that rally, but spars with Daniel Perez, yourself, myself, Sean Lenning.
7 serves 11.
Often playing all of them in the same day.
It's really sad. I like to be the guy that plays them last, though. So,
does it really matter?
Well, it helps the record.
Okay.
But I don't tell everybody that about the last part. I just say, yeah, I beat him. Nadia Alvarado asked the question, is Luis Moreno wearing down?
I've only seen Luis Moreno wear down in one match, and that was at the World Championship Final against Paul Brady. I've never seen him tired in any other match in any tournament that he's ever played.
Wow, that was a crazy hook right there that fooled Nash and everybody else watching. That ball jams into that right wall. Nash had nothing to do with it.
12-7.
12-7. Underhand paddle from Nash.
Hold it.
Nash does have a pretty good argument here, Dave. Let's take a quick look at this replay.
There. He didn't move from there. He just hit it and stayed there. He didn't move into your way or anything.
Well, I think that's what Nash is saying. He hit it and didn't move. That's the point. You'll see, Dave.
Yeah, it's over ball.
I'm not saying it's an avoidable, but you can see why definitely Nash is frustrated. Right here, Luis doesn't even try to get out of the way.
Well, this is something that we see invariably in the pro game. When you hit a shot that you're not happy with in the front court, instead of jumping to the left as he should have there to give Nash, you're frustrated and you almost say, well, I don't want you to have that shot. I'm mad at myself, so I'm going to punish you for it.
But the referee's explanation was he didn't move.
Right.
And that's usually your argument. Yeah, that's the point. He didn't move. You have to move to get out of the way, or else it's an avoidable. See, there you saw Nash screen Moreno, but he actually moved to try not to screen him. He moved the wrong way, be it, but...
Short.
It's frustrating when the referee actually tells you
second serve.
His explanation of what happened, and it actually is the definition of an avoidable hinder the way he explains it.
Great pass shot from Luis.
Point.
Nash had a play and he tried to fist that into the back wall. Dermot Nash, Dave, started playing handball at the age of 8.
13 serve 7.
Luis Moreno got a later start. Luis, 3 years older than Dermot Nash. Luis started playing at about 12, so
point.
They've actually been playing for the same amount of time.
Timeout, scores 14, serving 7.
14-7 is that score here. Not to interrupt, but Nadia Alvarado upstairs, giving us the Twitter feeds and also the text messages. As a reporter said,
Twitter messages?
He said that Luis Cordova is calling a great match, except for that avoidable he didn't call. 2 shots back. So Nadia also concurs that.
Yeah, because that's not coming up on my Twitter feed.
Oh, well, I guess you're not following us.
No, I am.
Oh,
is
you
that
are.
set to
Really?
private?
No, I blocked you.
Oh, okay.
You can do that on Twitter.
No,
apparently
I know that.
You're not.
Didn't know I was blocked.
Well, some people you just don't want to hear from.
Yeah.
You're watching the Race for 8 live at racefor8.com. My name is Dave Vincent, alongside David Fink, who took and tied for 3rd here at this tournament with Emmett Peixote. You guys did not play your 3rd place match. Basically, both of you just fatigued and had one heck of a tournament. Great showing in this tournament, Dave. Also want to congratulate you for making it to number 2 in the WPH Power rankings. This is the first time you've been ranked in the top 2 in your pro career, which spanned almost 20 years, qualified at the age of 17, almost 16 years of age you qualified on the Pro Tour. Back in the days when Vince Munoz and Toddy and John Bike and Dave Chapman and Noddy and Danny Bell and those great names were, Randy Moronis were all, on the Pro Tour. You were ranked in the top 10 back then took about 11-year hiatus when you had that severe injury to your finger. Also ended your pro golf and tennis career. But then you came back and you've made it to number 2 at the age of 36, 37 years old, right around the corner for you, late in your career. So congratulations for making it to number 2. I know that you had a great tournament. You had the hardest draw in the whole tournament, and you did well in it.
Thank you.
And had a big lead yesterday against Luis in that first game. Could have possibly pushed him to that tiebreaker if things would have gone your way, but your play on the court has been good. Now, the way you handle the referees, not so much. You actually dropped down the list. 255 they had you at 256.
Yeah.
I'm at the 256. We toggle back and forth.
Yeah.
But your referee play, not so much. You actually have fallen from 56 to 55. And, or maybe that was the opposite way. But so sort of congratulations, but also it's a bittersweet.
Double-edged sword.
It's a bittersweet sort of congratulations here on this live
Well, it looks like I'm number 2 at both. I'm the number 2 worst with the referee.
Yes.
Okay. Well, as long as all the top rankings stay in Tucson. We have Luis Moreno at number 1 in Tucson. You also at number 1 with the referees. Speaking of Luis Moreno, Dave, He said coming into this event in Houston and for the remainder of the Race for 8 season, his goals are to win every battle plus the war.
Wow.
Scary.
Nadia Alvarado upstairs says that that timeout ended and Luis Moreno asked the referee to look at his shirt, and the referee said, that thing's wet, you need to change it. And Nadia said, this is very similar to what Dave Chapman would do. A la Dave Chapman. I was thinking, wow, a la you, Nadia.
Yeah.
He learned from you. Actually, you're the guy that he looked up to, not necessarily Dave Chapman, but he said smart move for Luis Moreno, for a young guy knowing how to work the referee like that. Should there be some kind of rule that the referee, like a checklist that might even be on the scorecard, where they actually make the player change immediately?
Well, you know, I wanted to ask you, is it the player's obligation to play what you would say maybe fair and say, well, I'm going to this timeout, referee, do I need to change my shirt? Or is it just up to the referee to tell the players what to do? I mean, does a player have to be obligated to tell the referee, should I change my shirt, should I change my gloves? Or is that up to the referee when a timeout is called to always initiate that question?
Well, you would think that the player, and oftentimes I've taken timeouts and was able to take my shirt on and off within the 1 minute time frame, not using that extra 2 minutes. But the players have somehow made it work to their advantage, like Luis has now extended this 1 minute break to 3 minutes because he knows how to cheat the system just a little bit.
Well, I found yesterday that I was stalling so much in the second game, some of it because I was tired, others because I was trying to break the momentum, but it got to a point where I wasn't even sweating anymore. And then it felt strange because I'd gone through 4 or 5 shirts. Now I'm in the middle of the second game completely bone dry and flat because I'd spent so much time changing my shirt and changing my
yelling
gloves
at the referees, changing shirts, and after a while you're just not, you're kind of getting cold.
Yeah, I'm cold now. My hands were cold. Everything about me was cold.
That's where you stall and delay so much that you're starting a new game over.
I mean, that's the overstall.
14 serve 7.
Okay, now we're back in. 3 minutes and 23 seconds off the stopwatch.
And Dave, I feel like we're starting a new match right now. These guys aren't sweating anymore. Luis Moreno wearing his vintage Race for 8-1 Elite 8 invite shirt. Dave, you can't buy those. Those were awarded to the initial Elite 8. Can you name them, Dave? And what team they played for at the time?
I can, but let's try to do it on a timeout because I'm going to be bumbling all over the place.
About it anyway.
No, I think I have it.
Okay.
Nash,
not sure we'll see another timeout here.
Luis Moreno, Nadia Alvarado, Sean Lenning, Dave Fink, Tommy Little, Armando Ortiz.
7.
Is that 7?
That's 6.
I counted 7. Hold on. Luis going back to the roof again.
Terrible shot there from Luis. Is that an avoidable?
Side out.
Luis tripped after his shot.
No, side out.
And that's a smart call from our referee.
You have 10 seconds.
7
you have till the end of this round.
I thought I said 7.
No, you said 6. And I know the 2 that you've missed.
Side out.
And it's Alan Garner and Dave Chapman that you missed. So
yeah,
6 for 8. Not
sorry,
so good.
I was still doing the counting of the guys I said.
16 serve 7. Short.
Didn't realize that Chapman was
Second
on that
serve.
originally.
Well, he was ranked number 1 when the race began.
Well, it stands to reason. Look at that get right there from Luis. Backhand with the left.
That's the shot
Nash
that Luis hit
overhits, and Luis overhits his shot.
Oh.
Side out.
Now these guys communicating back and forth with each other.
7 serve 16.
Yeah, you're right. Dave Chapman played for the Idaho team.
And Dave, watching this matchup now, do you think it's Luis able to handle Derman easier because he played him before and knows what to expect, or is this more of a factor of Derman's just got so many miles under his belt right now that he's not able to push Luis like he was at the U.S. Open after just playing 1 match? Is this more of a factor of one or the other?
17 serve 7.
I think it's a combination, really. Okay. Because you can see that Nash gets himself into the right position to hit these balls, and he would do that no matter which Luis he was playing. But Luis has just got so many other tools and strengths that I think that he defeats Nash no matter what. It's just that Nash would probably have a better showing if he wasn't so tired.
1 minute.
I just think it's a combination of things happening here, but it certainly is an entertaining match.
Well, Dave, we don't like to name names, but one person in our van, our handball van on the way to the courts, predicted the scores of this match at 12-7. The first game was 21-12. It's right now, I think it's 19-7.
I forgot who that person was, unless it was me.
Well, we don't name names, but
oh,
yes,
okay.
it was
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trying to win the bracket contest.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens if Luis scores.
You're not rooting against Dermot Nash.
No, absolutely.
No.
I just thought that would be the score there. Luis Moreno here, just staying in the court, and that's also intimidating in its own right.
And Dave, last year in April, if I would have asked you which Irish guy would have a good chance at the Players' Championship in 2014, you'd have to have said Martin Mulcairns.
Charlie Shane.
Well, and Martin.
Yeah.
And yet Martin has just struggled, Dave, inexplicably this season. Hasn't won a main draw match since he beat Emmett Pichot. 4 in a row, as a matter of fact, losses.
Moreno had Nash leaning to the right on that serve and goes to the left and would have had him, but it was short. And that ball just almost between the legs of Moreno. Push back, not a bad shot from Nash.
And Dave, what's going through your mind? You've lost the first game, you're exhausted. Now you're down 19-7. You want to give it your best effort, but can you?
Your only thought is I need to execute when I have my shot. That's it.
I start thinking about double figures. I want to at least get to 10.
Boy, Nash having to do a balancing act there. That's a nice shot right there from Nash. Crowd likes it too. That was a strange rally. Nash out of position, had to run off the tightrope there, jumping down to the ground and twisting out of the way to not get that avoidable hinder called against him. And you can see it here on the bottom right of our screen. He had to duck down and then jump out of the way, almost got hit. And that somehow keeps this alive.
Well, the problem for Nash, Dave, is he has to win points like this. Most of the points he's winning, Dave, are diving, unbelievable re-kills, where Luis Moreno wins points like this, where he just gets huge setups and just blasts 100-mile-per-hour pass shots. The guy that's teeing off on balls, Dave, and hitting these lasers is the one that's going to win the match. The guy diving, making great gets, generally not.
Hold it.
That's a good call. Nadia Alvarado upstairs says that Nash is giving the most room on the court. I mean, very generous player to play against because he sees and also gets out of the way. He could have easily have taken a ball back there and maybe got a reserve. Instead, he tries to get out of the way.
Hold it.
There's another one. I guess that's kind of my point. Luis hits that ball and uses that walk-off where you're kind of slowly trying to get out of the way, but it's my follow-through.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous reverse hook right there.
Nice return of serve from Nash. Here's a setup.
Nash takes that about 4 feet high, though, off the back wall, as opposed to letting it drop. I think he got fooled just a little bit off that back wall.
Nash is sneaky aggressive, Dave, because he looks to take the ball out of the air.
7 serves 18.
And he's proficient at the fly kill with both hands.
Nice corner kill right there from Nash. Now he scores another point. So that bracket contest loser is just going to sit here and
8 serves 18.
Drink more coffee.
Dave, I think Nash has to think about a different serve because Luis is pushing him back with power out of the front court with each return of that Z serve. Not really what you want as a server. You want to be able to maintain your front court position and step into your first shot. And against Luis, it seems like it's almost impossible to find that serve that's going to enable you to stay in the front court or have an offensive opportunity.
9 serves 18.
Now there's another guy in that van that predicted there would be a 14-point score, or was it a 17-point score in that second game? He's sitting to your
10
left.
serves 18.
Excuse me, a 16-point second game score, and it looks like Nash is edging that direction. If he gets a couple more points here,
Nash should have won this rally, but he wins it there with an amazing touch in the left corner. And Davey hit the wide angle corner kill there to keep the ball away from Luis. Look at that serve that he snuck in down the right for an ace. But Dave, when you've got your opponent trapped on the left, you have to hit the corner kill wide because that angles it into that right side wall. Doesn't give him a chance to play it. And now Luis seems to be a little bit out of sorts.
It should be a timeout, Dave. I mean, even Luis, who's playing hot, has to think to himself, I need to close this out now.
Interesting, Dave, to hear what Nadia Alvarado is thinking right now, because he said, can Luis Moreno keep up this pace? And, you know, I doubted that, Dave, but maybe there was something to that, because all of a sudden Luis Moreno is completely flat. He could be a combination of nerves trying to close out this match and also fatigue. I'm not sure. Another setup for Nash, and hard to believe he would miss that, Dave. Luis didn't even recover to the red carpet there. That was a freebie.
Well, Nash would be serving at 15 here with a nice 6-point run.
14.
And now Moreno back into the box, and you're going to see him clamp down and get serious. And that's that slide serve that he gets on that side wall. Nash tracks it down somehow. Moreno does the same thing. This could be tough off the back wall. Nash pushing down the left. Now crazy money ball. Resets the action.
Oh, an amazing shot from Nash. Dave, the reflexes there in the short swing, taking that power shot from Luis, who's expecting Nash to play that off the back wall, but he took the time away from him.
Nadia Alvarado says, as we watch this, 14-18, reporting upstairs with texts, says that boredom, that should be unavoidable, correct?
Yeah, how can that not be unavoidable? I mean, can we take a quick look at that? I mean, we only have about 10 seconds, but I don't see what else this could be.
Luis hits that ball.
14 serves 18.
Oh, no, was not. Nash had the whole left side there. Take that back. I want to apologize to the Tucson Racket Club and all of Luis's fans. Are you serious? Unbelievable shot there from Nash, who goes down to one knee and hits a 2-inch Moreno shot 1 inch high.
15 serves 18.
Wow, that is amazing. Luis almost got a 15-18.
15-18.
And Dave, we had already etched Luis's name into the cup here, 18-6.
15 serves 18.
Now it's 9 straight points for Nash. We were talking about what's going through his mind as this match was coming to a close. I don't know if in Ireland they know that you're supposed to stop.
Oh, and Nash had that one as well.
Why does he go with the Dave Vincent backhanded flip there? Why not a left-handed paddle?
I think you get more court coverage using your right hand on that particular shot. If you come in with the left, you've got the body in the wrong position.
Okay, let's see it right here.
No, you'll see. He'll get more distance with that right hand.
15.
Well, Luis hit a terrible shot there. It was an easy put away, and Nash had a play on it.
That's because he was diving to the left. He had to use that right.
Hold it.
Boy, Nash is on the ground again. You know, he's been on the ground 6 times out of the last 8 shots, not counting the serve. Noddy says that Nash is feeling alive again. Momentum back to Nash, he
18
says.
serves 15.
Although Moreno's in the box.
Well, if Nash would have converted 2 of those setups that he missed, I would say he did have the momentum. Now Luis firmly with the momentum in hand, Dave. 2 points from this championship in his 9th race win in 18 overall race events.
19 serves 15.
Hard to believe. He's only played in 17.
Point.
Wow. And here it is. Match point for Luis Moreno. Nash clearly had the momentum, but Luis comes back, gets in the service box, and just has 2 crazy forced air type serves that gives him 2 points
Match
really
point,
quick, and now
15.
it's match point. There's the reverse. And he gets it. Luis Moreno wins again, puts his hands up, and takes down race stop number 3 in Houston, Texas. Much to the delight of the fans. Nash, of course, he's upset right now with this result, but has to be happy with the showing. And both of these players out here congratulating each other. Big win for them. Big congratulations to all of those that have put this amazing event together, as we have Luis Moreno and Nash exiting the court. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back with an interview with Luis Moreno. We want you to stay right here, and we'll have that live at racefor8.com right around the corner. Stick with us.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
She took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Ahern Rentals is the largest independently owned and operated rental business in the United States. We are proud to maintain outstanding working relationships with over 100 manufacturers, including JLG, Skyjack, Genie, Kubota, Multiquip, Honda, and many more. From coast to coast, Ahern Rentals is here to service your equipment rental needs. For a complete list of locations near you, please visit us at www.ahern.com or call 1-800-400-1610.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't, because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Back in Houston, Texas at race stop number 3 alongside our winner of the main event, Luis Moreno. My name is Dave Vincent. Great match, great tournament. Let's talk about Nash before we congratulate you on your win. Once again, taking down another great finalist here and putting together another great performance. Let's talk about Nash, though, really quickly. He actually is a strong player. I know you love the challenge of facing new guys, and though you have played him before, how strong is this kid?
This guy is, he impressed me because from the last time I played him, he was just a total different player. You can tell he's been working on his game a lot, and I was really impressed, and I was just happy I was able to get him because he's a tough guy.
Now, you've targeted Houston for quite some time. Last year you skipped this tournament. It was your birthday weekend. This year you decided that you were going to play in this one. What are your overall impressions of how the event was organized, the locals, and how they support handball and all that stuff?
I think it's really good. They do a really great job here at the Houston YMCA, and I'm looking forward to coming back next year because last time I was here was at the old Y, and same crew, but it was always a great tournament. I've always had fun here.
I think I know the answer because I play with you locally in Tucson, so I know that you are putting a lot of effort in on the handball court. But for those that don't know your regimen and your focus, what did you do to prepare for this tournament, also the race season, and what are you doing right now to prepare for that?
I'm just keeping myself busy, always doing something, whether it's, a run or a bike or just swimming and, going into the gym, hit the free weights and always stretching. So a lot of different things, a lot of stuff that I enjoy doing anyway, so it's fun.
What gave you that love back for handball? I know it's not a love-hate relationship that you have, but it's sort of like this love aloofness that you have with handball where sometimes you feel like, I'm just burned out and I'm going to take 3 or 4 months off. I've heard you say that before. And then other times you just can't get enough of it. Well, right now you can't get enough of it. It seems like you're traveling the country, you're playing. You flew to San Francisco to play Emmett Peixote in a recent exhibition. Then you had that exhibition with Dave Fink and Sean Lenning. What's this rejuvenation part? Why are you putting so much focus in on the game right now?
I just feel like I shouldn't waste a lot of time because I'm only going to have a small window to be able to play, the way I do. So might as well take advantage and, explore and learn because I'm just like working on a mold and I always seem to find something that I tweak it and then it's like, oh, this is cool. I've figured something out and it never seems to end. So I love it.
You like the challenge.
Great challenge.
The sport is quite challenging. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we all face it at all different levels. You just happen to be at the top of that level. Now, right after this match, I believe you have a doubles finals that you're going to have to play now, and those guys are warming up on the court. So
yes.
I have to let you go. I really do want to keep you longer, but I want to respect the fact that you're now playing in the Open Pro Double Finals with your partner Dan Armijo, and I think you're going up against David Chapman and Anthony Celesto in that final. Will not be covered, although it will be an entertaining match. Instead, though, we're going to have the senior race finals. Anything you'd like to say to your sponsors, those that have supported you, Dakota, the family back home?
Yeah, I just want to thank, all my supporters and, my sponsors, the WPH, Mountain Creek Marketing, thank you guys, and, everyone for being here. Thank you, Dave, Jeff, and John Bike, and the whole WPH staff. I really appreciate it. It's a really fun event. It wouldn't be the same if you guys weren't here, so thank you guys.
Congratulations. Once again, it's kind of getting old handing you those checks. Talk to you later. We're wrapping it up from here as we go back to the court, as Luis Moreno has to exit quite quickly because he has a final on the next court, and they are quite strict on getting these guys in and out and back on again in Houston, Texas, as they should be. Limited court space, but Luis Moreno gets off of one final, now has to go into another one, and once again wins that big check and a lot of points. Put himself at the #1 spot in the race standing and the race points after this tournament. So, he's doing exactly what he set out to achieve in this race season 2013-2014. We have the senior finals coming up next with Marco Chavez up against Tyler Hamill. We'll have that live here at racefor8.com. Stick with us.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.